Oh, I forgot I had a cold open today. All right, this will probably liven me up
Oh,
because
you did? Sweet.
it's a funny one. All right, let me see. Let me see.
Should I look at the link or no? Should I
Yeah, you got
say
to look at the link because I don't
I
have a
have to look
way.
at the link? Gotcha. Oh my gosh, what is this? I don't even want to know.
All right, so
My
this
answer is already no.
this is a $200 VR muzzle that lets you strap a second bulky device on your head. That's the funny headline from TechSpot. This is like a conversation. Oh, they have a video. Hold on, I gotta mute the video, but we can play it here. So this device, you strap it over your mouth, and then it'll allow you to like take conference calls or carry on conversations with people over like Discord, but without anyone in the room being able to hear what you're saying. So it's like a, I mean, they call it a muzzle, but it's like a device
It's
you
not.
put.
It's a microphone. It's like a highly
It's a little
closed off
soundproof. It's
microphone.
like a little soundproof room you just strap to your mouth. Is
Yeah, it's
what
a
it is.
sound booth for your mouth.
So welcome to Crowbar Kernel Panic, the podcast at the intersection of Linux and gaming. This week, this episode is pre-recorded and will release on YouTube, on iTunes, and other podcast apps. Please like, subscribe, and comment however you prefer to enjoy the show. You can send us an email at crowbarkernelpanic@pm.me, or you can join us on Discord. I have a link to the Discord in the show notes. Man, getting through that intro was like tough. I'm like super exhausted tonight. But you know what'll happen? What always happens when we do these shows? I get enough caffeine before the end of the show that like I don't shut up. And so I I'm like dead to the world right now, but after this thing, I'm not going to be able to go to sleep. I'll guarantee it.
The muzzle won't work.
Yeah, we should start doing these podcasts in a muzzle. So I could lay in I'll lay in the Mew talk. Quick, can't keep calling it a muzzle. It's the Mu talk, the Mew
You,
talk.
you know darn well that if this thing ever gets to be any kind of anything, they're gonna call it the muzzle. You
Yeah,
know it.
I'm gonna get me one of those Moo Talk things, and I can start doing the podcast like in bed while my wife's asleep. I'll just be laying on the bed, just blah 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 blah. Hello, welcome to Crowbar Kernel Panic. That's the way we'll do it. I really am tired. We have quite a bit of news. This episode will probably be mostly news, actually. But then we want to talk about the Debian challenge. We've each done our first week of Debian. Debian cold turkey is what I'm calling it.
Debian cold turkey.
And so we'll talk about how that's going. I think that the real insight will probably come in the next couple episodes after we've used it a little bit more. I've basically just installed it, but
Okay.
but we'll talk about that. Would you rather do Debian now or the news now?
Let's do the news because I have some stuff I want to talk about. I'm probably not gonna remember if I don't get
Okay.
through this news first.
All right. So there is a new version of Proton. Proton 7.0-6 is released. Lots of new feature upgrades. Lots of new games are working that weren't before. If you were recently trying out a game on Proton Experimental and it didn't work, then maybe give it another shot. It might be working now. They actually, in the show notes, I have linked to their GitHub where they list some games that actually are now playables, like Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection, and then a lot more improvements even beyond that. So
That's interesting because I was using the experimental. That's why. I was gonna say Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I'm sure they're talking about the new 4.0 release of that, and I was like that has been working. I didn't have any issue with that, but it's
Oh,
because I was on the experimental, which is technically 7.0 point or dash 6. That's
and
technically like it's one before.
were you by any chance using the Glorious Egg Roll version.
I was not.
That could also be another. I haven't used it in a while either, but that
No,
could
I
also be a
haven't had to
reason.
use it in a while.
Oh, they fixed the Japanese keyboard input in Final Fantasy 14 Online. Oh well, so now I can use my Japanese keyboard. Let me get that bad boy
Yeah.
right out of the closet. I just saw Final
That's
Fantasy. I saw Final Fantasy 14 there, and I said, "Oh, what did they improve?" And then I realized it's got something that's got nothing to do with me. Um, Something that does have to do with me that I didn't realize is it says here that Proton Experimental only DirectX 9, 10, 11, and 12 games now require Mesa 22 or NVIDIA drivers 510 or newer. So part of our Debian,
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
yeah. So I used the wrong PPA, I
Mm.
guess.
No,
I'm
no, you probably used the right one
yeah.
because they only have up to 510 in their repos. Debian,
I'm
that
on like
is.
470. I'm on something way old. So
Oh,
yeah. So I don't know what
oh,
I
that
did.
that is strange.
Yeah, I don't know what I did. I'd never had this problem in the past. It has to have something to do with the way I installed the drivers
Yeah, because
on
if you do
Debian.
it from their if you do it from their repo, you only get up to 510,
Hmm.
510 version. To get anything more, you have to download it from their website. Unless there is another repo maybe that you can add, but as far as I know, you have to go to Nvidia's website and download it.
Gotcha. No, we'll have to look at that when we get there. The I noticed this because after I installed Debian, I installed Steam or installed NVIDIA drivers, installed Steam, and then when I tried to launch a game for the first time, it was saying that my drivers were too outdated, and I just thought,
Mm.
oh, it's because it thinks I'm on Windows, and it's confused by like how am I like what
Oh
kind of
yeah.
weird drivers are you using, and
Mhm.
so I tried another game and it did the same thing, and then I reverted back to a previous version of Proton, and it worked fine. And
Right.
I just I didn't really think about it because the game I was playing it was fine as is. Like
Mhm.
I didn't need any additional. So I in getting ready for the show, I read this note here, and I realized that that was my problem. That's why, because then if I go to Nvidia, the NVIDIA X server settings, I can see that I am on 470.161.
Wow, I'm surprised that even works with your monitor, to be honest.
I don't even know.
How old
I
that is.
didn't even notice until I tried to launch those games, and at this point, I noticed it just before the show, so I didn't want to change anything right before we go on the air.
Mhm.
But yeah, it must be. I followed the instructions that you posted on Discord, and I added that PPA, but I noticed that it was like for like a different version of Debian.
Wait,
So,
is that PPA? Is that a PPA or is it a repo?
oh, I don't know.
Because if it's a PPA, it's definitely wrong because you're really technically not supposed to add PPAs to Debian. That's only an Ubuntu thing.
Oh, okay. I'm using the wrong terminology, but yeah, you're right.
Okay, good.
You're right.
I was just wondering because that could be your problem altogether.
I noticed it was for a different version. So
Right.
so I
Yeah, there was a
changed
lot in
it.
that article.
I changed it to the version that I'm on,
Mhm.
and it installed, but apparently it installed the wrong thing. So um anyway, so there's that upgrades, improvements to Proton.
You definitely try Witcher 3, the 4.0, especially if you have a RTX card. Holy crap, it looks so good.
Did you notice a change here in the
Oh
new?
yeah.
Oh
I
wow,
can
okay.
you can what's nice about Witcher is you can live switch, like you can turn it off and turn it on. Not like you have to go into settings and everything, but you can see instantly the difference and holy
Mm,
crap, it's like night and day, literally.
wow. I love it whenever that happens. Whenever you have some sort of obscure issue with the game that, like, is like unusual. Maybe it didn't happen before. All of a sudden, it started happening, or a game that like has never really worked for you, and then there's like a new version of Proton comes out, and then all of a sudden it works, and you don't have to make any changes anymore.
Yeah.
I believe it's that way with Resident Evil. Remember how we used to have to jump all through those hoops to get the
Yep.
old Resident Evil
And
games to work? Now it
they
just
fixed
you
the
don't have to
intro.
do it.
Yep.
Yeah. Um,
It's amazing what they've done.
I know it's crazy. It's Christmas every month. It's Christmas with those Proton guys. GamingonLinux.com reports the GameCube and Wii emulator Dolphin got a big speed boost for Steam
Ooh,
Deck. So
nice.
yeah, so Dolphin is like the most popular GameCube and Wii
Yeah,
emulator.
I love Dolphin.
I was going to ask you. I haven't tried it yet, but have you tried it with this new update? So they've
Not yet.
promised
No.
they promised that they set their roadmap that they're going to be
Mm.
working on improved Vulkan memory allocation and better Vulkan support in the future. And this is like
Hmm.
their first. This is like their first like update since that roadmap.
Interesting. Yeah, so this is what is different with Dolphin is if you install it on Linux and you're installing the actual Dolphin GUI and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you get a different version than what you would on like a retro gaming console, like what I'm using in my living room, the Laka system. That you get the Dolphin Core, which is different. So I'm not sure. I'd have to look in and see what the difference is. Um, but yeah, that'd be nice because right now I'm running my games at 720p, which is like I think it's double what the original resolution is. But it'd be really nice to run it at 1080, like at the native resolution of my TV. Then it would look really good.
Yeah, I need to try like all of this talk about emulation on Steam Deck. I still have not tried it. I'm not
Oh, like
like
I said, dude, that's all I would use it for. I
I
wouldn't even
know
play modern games
I
on it.
know I'm not like super big on using whenever I emulate a game, I'm
Hmm.
trying to also emulate that like past experience. So I want it to be like on a screen.
Yeah.
I can use a controller and if I could I would
Yeah.
emulate it and I've seen people that have like old TVs so they still have like old
Hmm.
CRT style TVs and stuff.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
That's the way I would try to do it, I think. I would try to go
Oh,
all out.
so Linus Tech Tips did a thing with that,
Yeah.
and like so I think it was the video, like it didn't translate through the video,
Mm.
but I could I could definitely see in that video the advantage to having a real, CRT TV
Yeah, no.
with the real console and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, it's I think we've talked about this in a past episode, but like it's really not fair if you run something like PCSX 2 or like
Yeah.
some sort of emulation program and you get all those pixels without the anti-aliasing. It's
Yep.
on your old TV it didn't look this way
Right.
because of the way the TV works. It kind of
Mhm.
rounded all those pixels and they kind of it
Yep.
it blended and made sense to that
It
television.
literally the TV works differently. Like
Yeah.
physically the TV
Yeah.
works differently.
And so you're not seeing it the same way. So that's but the nice thing about emulation these days is that you can turn on anti-aliasing and you can kind of
Mhm.
you can upscale graphics and make it look
Right.
nicer. But that's
You can,
so
you can emulate like the old CRT.
you
They
can
do have some stuff that like kind of gets close to it, and it did get
DuckStation.
pretty close.
Yeah,
Yeah,
DuckStation
right,
has that. I used
right.
DuckStation to run whenever I was testing out Metal Gear Solid, and it did that, and it looks better with that turned on.
It improved or not the performance, but the visual.
Right, exactly. I
That's cool.
the thing that I had a problem with DuckStation, and I don't know if this was a thing when I was a kid and I just didn't notice it, or maybe like we were
Mm.
saying on those old televisions you couldn't really tell, but like there's like this shaky effect that happens to a lot
Oh
of the
yeah, that's right. I
scenery in
remember
the
you saying
background.
about that.
And like I can't get through the game because it's so bad, and I don't know if I don't know if that was
That's so
always there.
crazy.
I don't know if that was always there, or if it's is a result of
Mm.
the emulation. We need to bring on like an emulation expert. If there's
Yeah, right.
anybody that's like really into that.
Hmm. Well, I know one guy that's really into it. My friend Mike. Uh,
Mike, come on the
he's
show.
yeah, he's really into it. But he, as far as I know, I don't think he does console emulation like on a TV. As far as I know, I think he does all handhelds. So I mean, it's the
Oh,
same
okay,
difference.
yeah.
It's just it's in a handheld, like the one I have, that my friend gave me.
And see, I bet that if I were trying to emulate the same thing at the resolution of the Steam Deck, it may not as be as noticeable, or if it even maybe that would solve the problem. I don't know.
Yeah.
So Mozilla, I put in the show notes. Mozilla's being really melodramatic about starting a about starting a Fediverse, but Mozilla to explore healthy social media alternative. So
What? Wait. Are they like? Oh, I see what they're doing here.
they're
Gee.
doing kind of what Vivaldi did, where Vivaldi is
Of
running.
course.
They're running their own. What do they call it? Mastodon. They're running their own Mastodon. If you have a
Mm-hmm.
Vivaldi account, Mozilla's. I'm guessing they're going to do a similar thing. I don't. This article reads like super like you know it, Mozilla. Anytime they do anything, it's like they're
Mm-hmm.
changing the face of the internet and the way
Right.
people interact with each other. Whenever really, you're just making a web browser. Um,
Yep.
but this is one of those examples where they are working on their own. I guess it's going to be a Mastodon. Um, Mozilla.social.
Yeah.
We are eager to join the community in growing, experimenting, and learning how we can together solve the technical experience and trustworthiness challenges inherent in hyperscale social systems. Our
He's talking
intention
about buzzwords.
Yeah, I know. Our intention is to contribute to the healthy and sustainable growth of federated social space that doesn't just operate but thrives on
Hmm.
its own terms, independent of profit and control motivated tech firms, an open, decentralized, and global social service that puts the needs. I can't even read these like word packed sentences. Um,
Yeah.
but the long and short of it is they're making a mastodon basically.
Yeah, I'm reading down here. Yeah, look, it says here, today we see the rising tide of the Fediverse through Mastodon, Matrix, and PixelFed.
Yeah.
So
So are
that's
they
just
wanting
them
to do?
saying,
So are they wanting to do their? Is this them announce? I don't know what this is. Are they saying they're going
I
to
don't
do
know
their?
exactly either.
Are they doing their own? Like, are they doing another Fediverse? Like,
Like, are they creating their own thing?
right? Or are they just making a mastodon?
I don't know. I don't
I
know.
don't know either.
I hope they're just making like they're gonna get involved in all these other
Yeah, if they were
things.
doing what Vivaldi's doing, I would probably join it I
Yeah,
because I thought about joining Vivaldi's, and it exists. It exists today, so maybe I should just do that.
right. But the nice thing about Firefox is if they or Mozilla is if they
Yeah.
did this, it would be mostly I feel at least it would be mostly Linux people because I think that's the only people who really use Firefox now. I mean, maybe not, maybe I'm wrong,
It would
but
it would probably be. I think you're probably right either way. I don't think Vivaldi's far off from that either. But I don't know. I know people at work that like use Vivaldi that are like developers, but they are Windows users.
right.
So I don't know. I have no
Well,
idea.
Vivaldi I can see being a Windows thing more so, but Firefox I feel is mostly Linux. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of Windows people still because I know of a lot of people at my school or
Yeah,
my work that actually use um Firefox still.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't know.
yeah. I mean, everybody uses Firefox, so it's hard to tell. Like Firefox has like your grandparents use Firefox and they don't even realize it, whereas you and I use Firefox because it's the default browser on most Linux distros.
Right, yeah. Yeah,
Um,
cuz the older people just go for Firefox because they had IE and that was garbage, so they went right to Firefox anyway because that was the only other option at the time.
so they do point out in this last paragraph here. Now is the time, as we're living through the consequences of 20 years of centralized, corporate controlled social media with a small oligopoly of large tech firms. Mozilla, you're going to have to explain to me what an oligopoly is. Tightening their grip on the public square. In private hands, our choice is limited, toxicity is rewarded, rage is called engagement, public trust is corroded, and basic human decency is often an afterthought. Um, getting through, getting from the internet we have to the internet we want will be a heavy lift requiring significant investment in scalable, human centered solutions for users and community safety, product experience, and sustainability. These are all big challenges, yada yada yada. So the only thing that and it's not specific to this Mozilla article, but the thing that I like about like Mastodon and Matrix
Mhm. Mhm.
and the different Fediverse things is I like that it's not like rage bait focus. Like
Yeah.
if you look at any modern social media, they've gotten to the point where like reaction is everything. If you can
Yep.
post
Yep.
something that gets reactions, then your post is more valuable than everyone else's.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that encourages people to only post things that intentionally drives reaction. And
Mm-hmm.
so I like the idea that these more decentralized social media platforms, if you could even call them that, they don't have that same incentive structure. So I think that does make for a better social platform.
Yep.
I still think this article is melodramatic though.
Yeah, I believe that too. It's very yeah.
I might
But
sign up for the Vivaldi one though, since like I said, since it exists. I think if they both existed today, I would try Mozilla over Vivaldi. But I don't know. We'll see how long maybe it takes for the Mozilla one to come out.
yeah, yeah, I'd be interested to know
Um,
when it's gonna come out.
do you remember Unity?
Which one?
uh,
Desktop or
oh yeah, that's the desktop Unity. I didn't even think about that. The Unity desktop. So, Unity X 7.7
Ooh.
is available for testing. So there is I'm a little confused by this. There's a Unity 7.7 and then there's Unity X 7.7.
Yeah, like and then they have this like Mac OS looking photo right here. So like you think the X would be like 10, you know how Mac
Oh,
OS
true.
does
Yeah.
10. But then it's like 7.7. So is it 10 or is it 7.7? What is this?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I didn't think about it that way. I got to tell you,
The
I
X stands for extra.
I grew to love Unity back whenever I hated it when it first came out. I mean, I hated it.
Dude, I feel like Unity went from hate to nostalgia in like 2
Yeah.
years.
No, it's true. It was, and I think it was out way longer than we realized too. I remember we talked about this whenever
Yeah.
there was a recent. It was like 2 years ago or a year and a
Mhm.
half ago. There was a story that we did when we were on Mintcast together, and I remember us having this same conversation then. That like I went from I can't stand Unity. I'm ditching Ubuntu because they switched everybody to Unity to whenever Ubuntu switched from Unity to GNOME. I said, "Why are they doing this? Unity, Unity is awesome. What are they doing?" And yeah, I kind of miss it. Looking at these photos, I want to try this, but I don't understand what the difference is between Unity X and Unity. So,
Like I don't know the difference cuz I haven't looked into it, but like I want to know what drove them to call it that versus like, Unity 8 or Unity 7.8 or whatever.
well, they say, greetings, Unity lovers. As you're likely aware, we recently succeeded in running Unity 7.7. No, we weren't aware. Everybody forgot about you until you made a milestone release. Based based on this effort, we've created a new variant of Unity, presenting Unity X,
Hmm.
superseding the previous effort with the same name. What does that mean? What does that statement
Yeah,
mean?
what does that mean?
Superseding the previous effort with the same name. A new
So,
variant on Unity that retains all the features of Unity 7.
okay.
So why? Yet offers even more custom. Okay, here's the difference. Unity X apparently offers even more customization options, like using a window manager of your choice with Wayland support coming soon, replacing or even removing the panel, etc. It doesn't even require any of Ubuntu's GTK patches. The look and feel of Unity X is akin to Unity 7, but with added flexibility. So it sounds like if you had Unity and you want to make more adjustments to it than what you can, they have
Mhm.
this Unity X, which is the more easily adjusted. So to me, it's
I
like,
guess the
what?
X stands for customizability.
I guess so. It's extreme. It's Unity Extreme.
Oh yeah, that's perfect.
So why then do like why can't why does anybody need the one that's not as customizable, I guess is the question. Why?
Maybe
Why?
for compatibility, like to keep it with the current LTS.
Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I do know that there actually is a Unity 8. That the guy
Oh, really?
yep, the guy who makes Time Shift, which is now a Linux Mint project because the guy didn't want to handle Time Shift anymore. That's another story. He actually made a Unity variant and called it Unity 8.
Strange.
Yeah, you have to go on his website. I forget what the heck his name is.
Could
Tommy
that
Tech or something like that. It's something to that effect.
could that be why? All right, Unity 8. Is that the one we tried on Mitcast? Unity 8.
No, I don't think so because I think you have to pay for this one.
Unity8.io. Lamori. After Canonical announced it stopped. Yeah, I think. Yeah, you're right. I actually think this might be the one that we looked at.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't know. This is confusing, but I kind of want to try it because I do miss Unity, and I have learned to. I've grown to love GNOME. It's actually my desktop of choice now. Um, but for the longest time, I didn't like it, and I would only use Cinnamon, and then or Unity, and then we
Yeah.
just all forgot about Unity and moved on with our lives. And I would like to see it make a comeback. So I might actually try this out, and maybe it'll be part of our Debian thing. I'm already on Debian Cinnamon right now, and so maybe I'll install Unity as a second option, and then we could talk about that. Um, I made jokes about how everybody forgot about Unity, and I think that is true. I think everybody did, but I wish they didn't. I think it's worth remembering. We all need to remember it again. Um, I have another. I actually have two more GamingOnLinux.com articles. So Gaming on Linux reports the open source NVIDIA Vulkan driver NVK begins to run games. So we talked about this.
Oh, nice.
It's been several. It's probably before Thanksgiving now. We talked about how the
Mm-hmm.
oh, it looks like it was back in October. Probably is when we talked about it because that's back in October. Gaming on Linux wrote an article about it. That's probably where we got it from.
Yeah.
So this is based on what NVIDIA open sourced last year. They're working on an open source NVIDIA driver that is going to improve Vulkan, or it is a Vulkan driver.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
yes, it is NVK. I imagine that's what the V stands for. Well, they've actually got it. They've got a game running on it. In the demonstration, the performance was not good, but even in the comments provided by the developers, they're saying that they understand what went wrong and they know how to improve that. So
Mm.
it sounds like they're making really good progress. It's probably going to
Yeah.
be a while before any of us actually install this
Yeah.
and use it, but it's
Definitely.
really
I
cool to
agree.
see the progress. And it can only go up from here.
Yep. And I think what's going to happen is they're going to get this whole thing done and get everything working and everything. And by that time, I'm hoping and I think that the
We'll all have
um
Intel Arcs by then.
yeah, right. Yeah, no. I mean, you might not be wrong,
Maybe.
but no, I'm hoping that the Nueve whatever
Mhm.
drivers, the open source ones, will have it implemented already, and basically be like the AMD drivers now.
Yeah, I mean they could use what these guys are making, right? What
That's
they,
what they're doing, as far as I know.
yeah,
Um, they're trying to incorporate it. I think even right now they're working on incorporating it, but it's going to take years before they can actually get it
yeah.
implemented.
I mean, it would be awesome having an Nvidia card in my computer and being a Linux user. It's like every time I install something, I then have to figure out how to install the Nvidia software on that
Yep.
thing, and it would
Yep.
be so cool if just the Nueva drivers, however you say that, just already had
That sounds
everything.
good.
Yeah, say it fast enough no one can tell.
Yep. Driver.
All right, this one was your article, but this is Bluetooth support for the Stadia controller is now live. Now, Stadia was canceled,
Yep.
and I didn't even know. I never even looked at this controller. I had the
Yep.
Amazon controller, and then I think I threw
Right.
it away or something.
You
Um,
lost it. Remember,
yeah, and it's so
something happened to
lost.
it.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah,
lost that I had to have thrown it away. Um,
it's
so,
so lost. It's in the trash.
so I'm guessing. I mean, unless I ate it, I don't know where it's at. Um, so it looks like if you bought one of these Stadia controllers, even though Stadia has gone under, you can use the controller on your system. Is that what it? Is that what
Yep.
this is
So
saying?
they're gonna unlock the Bluetooth controller on it so that you can just connect
Ah,
straight to Bluetooth. Before it was proprietary. You couldn't connect it except for with a Chromecast or Chrome or whatever to Stadia
wow.
directly. Now they're just gonna do it. My question is this them being a good steward of their technology so that it doesn't go to like the dump, or is this like they're backed into a corner because everyone was ticked off
A little bit of
about
column
a
A,
little bit of
column
both?
B. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
a
I
little
think
bit
it's
of
a little
both.
bit of
Yeah.
both. I think what
Uh,
else? What else were they gonna do? They
Oh,
had people
right.
buy all these Stadia controllers, maybe still in
Yep.
return policy within some cases, and
Yep. Yep.
yeah, they had to do something with them. But this
Yep.
also shows you that like they could have done this all along. Like it wasn't some kind of proprietary. Oh, they're using some kind of weird technology to make it more compatible with their Stadia application. They
Right.
like to me. If I was in the shoes of of Google or whoever it is that owns Stadia or a service like this, I would also make the controller Bluetooth capable. What are you losing? What are you
Right.
losing by enabling that? And this shows that they intentionally disabled that feature and made it
Yep.
only usable with their product for
So
arbitrarily no
I
reason
believe
whatsoever.
I believe the reason they did it is because they were giving these controllers away at a loss because of how
Yeah.
cheap they were. And they
Oh,
didn't want people to just be buying them to not use them with Stadia.
yeah.
Just to have a cheap controller. So
Uh,
that
okay.
was their whole play. And then they unlocked them now because Stadia's gone, and they're like, you know what? Who cares at this point?
I see what you're saying. I still think it's a
It was like
dick
that
move.
lock-in factor, that you have to pay for Stadia if you
Yeah.
had this. But now that Stadia's gone, there's no way to pay, so
Yeah.
just unlock it.
Yeah, but that would be like if the Steam Deck was released you running Linux, but
Yep.
designed in such a way that you couldn't boot anything else on it except for Valve's version of Steam OS.
Yep.
But they chose not to do that just because they're not assholes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, I'm not saying that this is like good by
No,
Google to,
I know. I know you're not advocating for it, but no, I think it's a good explanation.
yeah. I think it's good that they did it. I'm really glad that they did this because there would have been a ton of e-waste right
Yeah.
there, just gone
Yeah.
forever in the trash.
Yeah, and I won't say that had no factor into their decision making, but yeah, I think it was more or
I get what
less.
you're saying though with the Steam Deck though, because they could have easily said, "Yep, SteamOS, that's it. You're not screwing around with this thing. No Windows, no Pop OS, no anything.
Can't go to desktop mode.
Nope. Yep, no
All you can
desktop.
do is use the Steam interface, and you can only play
Oh,
games
dude,
that you can buy through
can you
Steam.
imagine the outrage if that happened?
I
They
can
would they would had to reverse.
I can imagine the outrage from people like us, but at the same time, I think there would be plenty of people that just would never know the difference. I was watching something the other day, and somebody was talking about how they got this cool new Steam Deck and they love it, and I'm sure this person has no idea that they are using Linux or that this is like they just bought a Steam Deck and it boots up the
Yep.
Steam and they can play their Steam games on it and that's all they care about.
Yeah.
Um,
They just know it runs Steam. That's it.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Steam in a box.
Which is a huge like success story. I mean,
Oh
it's
yeah,
such
no
a great
lie.
product that you don't need to be a nerd to know how to use it. Yeah, my dad. Oh, I hope my sister. Hope she doesn't listen to the podcast. It's very unlikely she listens to the podcast. My dad recently got my younger sister a Switch, and I,
Mm,
I said I was thinking, oh man, he should have got a Steam Deck, and because she already has a Steam account, she plays a
right.
bunch of weird little games. She's weird. She plays a bunch of games that like I would never play, but like they don't require much resources. She plays them like on like my
Yeah.
dad's laptop and stuff. And I was thinking, oh man, she would love Stray. And so I looked to see if it was
Oh.
available on the Switch, and it's not available on the Switch. And I was just like, God, he made such a mistake. He should have got her a Steam Deck. It's crazy. If you're buying a Switch these days, I think you're well. If you're like wanting it for Nintendo, then I guess
Yes, right. Right. I agree with you there. If you were like a diehard Nintendo guy,
yeah
you have no choice. You really don't.
yeah
But yeah, if you're even remotely swaying on that, yeah, get a Steam Deck.
yeah. So the Debian challenge.
Yep.
How was your Debian week been going?
So, well,
You've been using
at first it was a
Debian.
little rocky.
You've been using it longer than I. When did you had it installed in the last episode, right?
Yeah, I did. I literally installed it right before the episode.
Oh wow, okay. So that's how long. Okay.
Yep. So yeah, it's
So
been a little over a week. Yeah, it started off rocky because see, I always want to try for flat pack. I always want to like be like, yeah, flat pack. I
okay.
can get it anywhere. I can use it anywhere. Yada yada blah blah blah. It should be the same. No, it's never the same. Never. So
Yeah.
like, I was using the flat pack Steam, and now I realize now that they are packaging it for Arch. And I believe that now that they have been doing that, it's not working as well on Debian systems. The flat pack version of it.
Yeah.
So like Witcher wouldn't load. Horizon Zero Dawn I had issues with. I had to fix. Uh
It really
there's another
shouldn't.
game.
It really shouldn't matter though, right?
It shouldn't matter, no, but something's different. Something is different, and the only thing I can contribute it to is the fact that they're using Arch now. Because I remember when I used a Flatpak before on any kind of Debian distro, including Mint, I would have no problem. All the games would work. Nothing would be a problem. Now, the only reason, at first I thought maybe it's Debian, maybe they don't have something installed, whatever, a compatibility thing. Who knows?
What kind of problems are you running into?
So Witcher, let's see here. Witcher 3 wouldn't start because it needed something to do with Vulkan. There was some sort of Vulkan issue, and it said the version is too old, yada yada, blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay. So I probably could have fixed it, to be honest. Um, but I was like, all right, so that one I'm just gonna bench that for now. Then Horizon Zero Dawn, I needed to do, what was it? Oh, I needed to bring it back a couple of Proton versions to get it to work. Um, and then it worked. I'm pretty sure that's what I did. Um,
Are you
there was another game too. There was two other games I know that had some sort of issues. I got them working, but I did have some sort of issues with them.
and you're positive you're on 510 Nvidia graphics?
I'm on 525.
Oh wow. Okay.
I'm on the newest of the new because I got them right from the Nvidia.
Okay. This just sounds like
What's
really similar symptoms as to what I
Right.
was
When
finding.
you mentioned it, I thought the same thing.
Hmm.
But what negates all of that is the fact that I found that article that I sent you about installing Steam, and I
Mm-hmm.
did it that way through the Deb. No problems. Every game works fine.
Hmm. I didn't follow that guy just sent me because I had already gotten it installed and everything's been working.
Yeah.
But I think I
Well,
also
that's
installed
fine.
it through a
Yeah.
Deb package.
Yep. Well, I mean, that's I just
So
use that because I figured it would work.
my philosophy is, and maybe I'm just still old school, but like I avoid the flat packs, because
I don't blame you.
I try to always install things by the app installer of the OS. So I try to apt
Right.
install if I can. I try to DNF install if I can. Pacman install
Right.
if I can, and then I work backwards from there. And
And
the reason,
resort to that if you have to.
right, exactly. That's the way I think about it. I understand the other philosophy too. The other philosophy is like what you said. It should be the same every time. So if you use a flat pack,
Right.
it should be the same no matter what OS you're installing it on.
Exactly.
And I don't know why. I don't know what would be happening to you there. There must be just some other
I don't
kinds
know.
of dependencies or something that's using outside of the
There's
flat pack.
there's Well, like it said, Vulcan. It had something to do with Vulcan with
Mm-hmm.
what's its
Yeah.
face, Witcher. So it must have been missing something,
Hmm.
something between the Flatpak and the Vulkan version because it was the newest one. So it's not like it was definitely reporting the wrong version.
Yeah.
So
Huh.
something was mismatched.
Crazy. Crazy. My experience has been so when I first tried Debian, I tried the KDE version because on the show last week, we were getting a little too wild last week, and I said I would try KDE, and yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. Um, I remember I said I hadn't tried KDE in years. I guess it has been. I guess it has been at least more than 1 year. Whenever Neon came out, I tried it. KDE
Oh, the new
Neon.
Neon, the new version.
No, well, yeah. Whatever version that was, like whenever they released that, I
Oh,
tried like the
I
first
got you.
one, and that's
Oh, you're talking
probably
about when Neon first came out?
that's like the first time
It's
I've.
been a while.
That's yeah. It's been yeah. We were doing Mincast at the time. I don't remember how long ago that was, and I have no concept of time, especially not tonight. I'm exhausted, boy. Um, I thought the caffeine would have kicked in by now. Um, so I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I don't know why I thought I should try KDE, but I did. I did Debian KDE edition, and I installed it. Nothing worked. Not a single thing worked. Um,
Gosh.
I mean, literally not a thing worked. So like the first package I tried to install, it wouldn't let me sudo, and I couldn't figure out why.
What?
Yes, yes, weird stuff was happening. Now
Oh,
that didn't have anything to do
I
with
know.
KDE.
Yeah, I know what happened there.
That was just the first time you use sudo on. You need to do it in a terminal, um, just to knock that first little power comes great responsibility little saying they give you. You knock that out of the way, and then it worked after that. But the KDE
Okay.
trouble was, so I would download. So I couldn't. I was downloading Debian packages, and I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't install .deb packages. So I would download a
Mm.
deb package, double click on it, nothing would happen. Right click on it, choose application. I'd choose whatever the K, like the Caplication installer, whatever they call it on KDE. It's got a
Application.
yeah, everything is just whatever you call it, but with a K at the beginning. That's what they do. And it wouldn't launch. It wouldn't work. And I was like, oh, why on earth would I need to install a .deb package on Debian? Like why would that even be possible? What am I thinking? That's an
What am I
that's an
thinking?
absurd thought to have. And so then I go to like the software center, and it's like the software center or whatever, and I can't get anything to install there, and I just I was like losing my mind. I was like, this is not this. Debian's not that complicated. It shouldn't be this hard. And I guess that the KDE version of Debian is just not tailored very well to Debian.
Yeah, definitely
Um,
not.
because I'm sure that if you download the KDE version of Ubuntu, download Kubuntu, I'm sure you don't have this trouble.
No,
Um,
no.
so
Still
I
don't like it, but you don't have that trouble.
right. So I just said, you know what? I'm not dealing with this, and I uninstalled it, and I installed the Cinnamon version, and I've had no trouble whatsoever. I even
Nice.
nothing at all. It actually is kind of a boring review because I just feel like I'm running Linux Mint, maybe Linux Mint Debian edition at best. But it's actually
Did you theme it yet?
no, I'm just using the regular Cinnamon theme. I haven't
Ugh.
changed anything yet. Um, it doesn't look
I
that
can't
bad.
look at that. I
It's not that bad.
know.
It's
I
not that
can't
bad.
look at it. It's too old looking.
It
I'm like, is this XFCE?
it does look dated. You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy is the it's I I loved this interface. This was the king for me for many
Mm-hmm.
years. And now that I'm used to using GNOME, this feels so outdated.
Mm-hmm. I
Having
know
to
exactly what
scroll
you're
through a
saying.
menu, like it is so weird how like my
It's hard for
paradigm,
me.
yeah,
Yep.
my paradigm has completely shifted. That if I were to use this for a couple more weeks, I would be used to it, and I would be like back to like cinnamon baby. This is the way to go.
I
But
don't know. Let's find out.
I'm trying Unity. Between now and the next episode, I'm installing Unity 7.7.
Oh, you can get Unity on Debian.
No, I'm just gonna install it. Why not?
All right, here we go.
It's not.
Time for everything to break.
It's not a supported package, but I'll just install it and try it. It'll work. Sure, it'll work. It's got to be
Just
better
don't
than.
use the PPA.
What if I install Unity and everything has a U at the beginning of the name of the application?
You
It's
applications.
the uculator, the urminal,
The urinal.
U Explorer. Yeah, it's just U everything. I'm sorry.
I think that's what they should do.
I'm goofy tired now.
It's all good. It's all good.
So I put in the show notes. I installed NVIDIA, and I mistakenly installed the old version. I haven't figured out what I did there yet. I'll have to fix it after the show. I'm scared
Yeah,
to fix
I'm
it.
interested to know what you did.
Yeah, I don't know. I installed Steam without any issues except for the issue where I had to revert back to an old version of Proton, but that was not a problem with Steam. I've got to fix my NVIDIA driver. And then I found this cool application called NOLA. Have you seen this?
No, I've never.
Let me
Nala or Nola?
NALA.
Oh, okay.
How would you say that? I'm going to
Nala. I would personally say it Nala.
I'm going to
But I can't spell, so
Nala. That's probably right. So basically you install this Nala application and it replaces apt. Any commands you would type apt or apt-get, you just type Nala. And it's just a nicer, like more graphical interface to install Debian packages.
that looks nice.
It looks cool. It actually kind of reminds me of only it's got, pretty colors. It reminds me of Pac-Man a little bit.
Yeah. Interesting. So you type Nala instead of apt, or can you like do a like double
Yeah.
what do you want to call it?
You want to like link
Alias, a double alias.
Yeah, you want to
alias it back to apt.
I don't think you can go that. I don't think you can go both ways. That would be funny.
How does your app look so cool? Because I'm awesome.
I was reading this article to see just replace the app with all. Yeah, I figured if there was some way to do that, that would be in this article. But it looks like you just need to get used to typing Nala instead of apt. It's kind of like on Arch where like you
use yay instead of Pac-Man.
Yeah, use Yowert or yay instead of Pac-Man.
Yeah, I think it's Yower. I think that's the whole thing, but you just type in yay.
Yay's the new one. The OG one was Yowert, and I think it.
Oh, I thought yay was Yower. It's just the short version.
I think people quit using Yowert because of some security reason or something.
Interesting.
I don't know. I'm not in the Arch community the way I used to be.
We're in the Debian community now, boys.
Yeah, we're Debian.
All we see is gray beards everywhere.
We were Fedora for the longest time. Now this 2022 was the year of Fedora. 2023 is going to be the year of Debian. That's what we're going to do. All right. I guess next week we'll do another check-in. I think I want to do some like tests on
yeah, I'm going to need to install some test applications and see what's going on.
Yeah, let's try to do some I don't know what we could test because I didn't get any metrics before on Fedora, so I can't compare it.
So we can just like do some tests, get the metrics, like say what they were, and then like when we do our next one, we'll just do that test and we'll just keep adding to the list.
So we have our old test results from the various Fedoras and Ubuntus and Arches.
That's true.
But I have completely different hardware than we did back then. So all my tests will be like, I'm going to do way better.
Man, look at all this improvement.
Yeah. But I got to tell you, it's not because of Debian. So yeah, I think we start a new set of tests this year. And maybe that's what we could do is throughout the year we'll try to keep record of them. We need to make a tab on our website where we can put I forget we even have a website because it automatically it updates automatically. It doesn't require me to go and change anything. Whenever we post a show, it just pulls it. But we need to make a tab on our website that shows the test results, and so we can start posting them there for each
that'd be
distro
perfect.
we do. So I guess that's what we need to do this week is kind of devise a testing plan. That way we can
Yeah.
do the same one every time.
Yep.
And I think that'll be a lot of fun. And so much of it is reliant on like your graphics card. Like, do you really think there's going to be a big difference between like a 3D Mark 06, 3D Mark 23? I don't know if they change it every year. A 3D Mark test versus a 3D Mark test on two different distros. Do you think there's really going to be a dramatic difference? I highly doubt it.
So the thing is, there's going to be a point of diminishing returns,
Right.
no matter what, because you can only have so much power with your graphics card. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I don't think there
I
would
don't
be a
think.
lot of difference.
Yeah. I don't think that'll be a good test actually.
And the benchmark, the problem with the benchmarks is that it doesn't show you the nuance stuff that you notice. Because I don't notice my frame rate dropping unless it gets really low.
Right.
But I notice those frame stutters.
Yeah. So I think that should be the better test. But how do you quantify that? Like, so
That's like the thing, like count the frame stutters. Okay, I got 5 frame stutters this minute.
So I think what we should do is we should pick some examples that we know that we'll always have. So like Elder Scrolls Online is something that we both have, and no matter what distro we use,
yeah,
that's easy to install. And
yep.
and then the way we measure it maybe is we try to go to the same place around the same time of day and see if there is a significant. We can turn on our frame rate, and I wonder, is there a way to track your frame rate? I can't say it. Is there a way to track your frame rate in game so that like I run a game and then at the end of the game I can see what my average frame rate was?
So there is a project called Mango HUD.
Oh,
and I've used them before. And you know how what's their faces? Afterburner, you could see the little stats on the side of the monitor, on the upper left hand corner. It's the exact same thing. You could even see the frame stutters because there's a graph. You could set it to have a graph, and every time it like drops down in milliseconds like this, it'll it'll create a dip or whatever.
So I know Mango HUD, but I've never, maybe I'm misunderstanding what it is. I see it as something that you can run while you're playing a game and watch your frame rate as it's happening, but will it actually make you a report afterwards? That's what I want.
I don't believe so, but there is an average frame rate counter.
So you could just document what that is before. So we try to stick to the same area, the same time of day, and there's going to be things that we can't factor for, like an expansion launch is going to be busier than a non.
Yeah, of course.
We can't factor for that kind of thing. So we try our best.
And we can also test with offline games too.
Yes. Oh, that's even better. Yeah. And then we try to pick like a time, like we say we're going to do it for 10 minutes or whatever, and then jot down what the frame rate was.
You might be able to do a report with it. To be honest, I haven't really looked into it, but I know you at least can get the average frame rate and the average frame 1% or whatever. The 1% frame rate. Forget what that's called.
I don't know.
I know you can get the averages of a lot of things with Mango HUD.
I'm reading their.
It's actually a really cool project. I really like it.
No, yeah, I've known about it for a while, and it does look cool. I see it in like YouTube videos a lot.
Right.
All right, so we'll start there and see if we can't
just got to make sure we can get it on Debian.
yeah, that'll be if a distro we can't install Mango HUD on, which they have installation. It looks like they have installations for Debian, Ubuntu, Fedora, Solus, OpenSUSE.
Oh, good. And
then they even have a Flatpak.
I was just about to look it up. I was going to see if they have a Flatpak.
Yeah, they have one on their GitHub. So this looks like the way to go. That plus we'll do the other benchmarks just because they're fun to see the big numbers.
Oh yeah, definitely, or the small numbers depending.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm about to die, so I think this is the end of the episode.
Okay.
And we'll get back together next week. And hopefully have some test results from Debian.
Hopefully.
From the Debian challenge. All right. See you next week. Peace.
See ya.